What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blitz Angle tonight. My name is Ryan Linkletter. I'm here with Dan Loya. And Dan, we just watched the most turnover-filled game of the 2025 NFL season. I don't even know. The best way to describe it is this game was drunk at times, and the defenses
Yeah.
really well in this one. And made some big time plays, especially like holding them to field goals in certain situations. But a lot of offensive ineptity in this one. And the highlights and headlines from this one are gonna all be around Jalen Hurts, who had a really bad day today with 4 interceptions, 5 overall turnovers in this one. What were your thoughts on the Chargers' big win? And the Eagles now, Dan, they've lost 3 straight games.
Yeah, I think, where I wanna start off with is, Justin Herbert, dude. I thought he battled, man. He's dealing with he just had surgery for a broken left hand, on Monday, and I thought he played well, man. He's tough as hell, tough as nails, dude. You saw, like, in the post-game interview, he didn't wanna talk. I think he just wants to go home and go right to the ice bath or something, dude. Because I mean, he took a beating tonight, what, 8 sacks? The Eagles were coming
Yeah.
after him. Yeah, dude. It was all him, man. He legit this was a performance that he put the team on his back, and I was really impressed. So this game was for all the Herbert haters out there. You got to give Herbert credit, dude. Herbert's one of a kind. He's a great quarterback in this league, and he showed it. He showed it tonight, man. He carried this Chargers team, and shout out to the Chargers defense. Their defense is really underrated, especially against the pass. They play zone coverage really well. Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator, has got those guys played extremely, fundamentally sound throughout the entire season and paid off tonight. 4 interceptions, and I'm trying to see who that corner was who tipped it, but that last interception, Jalen's rolling out, Khalil Mack, caused a little pressure, forced a bad throw by Jalen, and then whoever was that cloud corner on that flat side, he tipped the ball, and Tony Jefferson was able to pick it off. So I think those three guys on that last play made an incredible play for the LA Chargers. So overall, man, Chargers get a big win. And now we're looking at the Eagles in a little bit of a losing streak, and it's
Yep.
gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen, man. I think they're in trouble. A little bit of danger.
A little bit of danger, a little bit of danger. Yeah, I mean, Los Angeles side of things, I mean, the entire year it's felt like their defense has kept them afloat in all of these games. The Chargers aren't winning pretty at all. I mean, I guess that's the story of a lot of these AFC teams is they just don't win pretty. Nothing's pretty about the way these guys win. They're all winning a ton of one-score games, and you think Justin Herbert looked really well tonight. I thought what he did well was his legs, where he used his legs
Yeah,
very well when he needed to, and that was something that he always hasn't done. He did a really good job of doing that today. I wasn't super impressed with how he threw the ball today and his decision making there. He was a little bit inaccurate, but like you mentioned, the guy had surgery less than a week ago. I mean, he went out there, he battled, and he found a way to win, even if it wasn't the most pretty outing in the world. But I mean, I hated the game plan in this one. I know they tried to run the ball, establish the run, all that type of stuff, but Justin Herbert getting hit this many times in this game. You got to get the ball out of his hands quicker. You got to find ways to get the ball out of his hands and, prevent him from taking that many hits. That's just not a good recipe for success for the Chargers. And they put themselves in a tough spot. Like the Eagles did everything in their power, it felt like, to lose this game at times, settling for field goals, Jalen Hurts turnovers on the other side of the field. Uh, I mean, this was in spite of Saquon Barkley having probably one of his best games of the
yeah,
year, 120 rushing yards. And the Chargers, if they do have a weakness on their defense, they can't stop the run. Right? I've been saying it for the last 2 months now. They can't stop the run very well, but they have a damn good pass defense. And Jalen Hurts
yep.
couldn't see it very well. And outside of throwing to one-on-one to AJ Brown in that matchup, he really struggled. And I was incredibly surprised that they converted that third and long. That was the best pass I've seen Jalen Hurts throw in a long time, and he was confident. He saw it, and he just went. And without hesitation, he had that. And tonight it just felt like too many times that he was a little bit off. He didn't read the coverage very well and put the ball in harm's way too many times. And one thing that's kind of going unnoticed with Jalen Hurts, right? The last 2 weeks, his accuracy has been nowhere near where Jalen Hurts' accuracy has been over the past few seasons and during that Super Bowl run last year. This offense is a mess right now. Kevin Patullo, I wouldn't be surprised if he's fired um, tomorrow. And I know, like, obviously the guy got his house egged and everything's not going well for him, but like this offense needs a change. They need to bring in somebody else with a different mindset because I think they said on the broadcast that like they were averaging a significant amount of more yards under center and they kept going from shotgun. it's funny because the Eagles are doing the same thing the Chiefs do, is they're just so stubborn. They do the things that don't work well, and they kind of avoid the things that worked well for them today. And they stalled out in drives, too many turnovers, and kind of got the result they wanted. But on Philadelphia's side of things, Dan, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's the question. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's who's the issue in Philadelphia? Is it the offense coordinator or is it the quarterback? I think this is a lot of people are going to be discussing tomorrow. In my opinion, I think Jalen Hurts is having a rough season. He's not playing at all confidence right now. I mean, if you just look at the tape, there's guys open, and he's just not throwing them. And I don't know why. I don't know if he's playing too safe, but overall, in my opinion, I think he's just not playing confident, and he just doesn't trust his right arm right now. And you saw today, bad throws, real like his kind of forte was like accuracy and rhythm, and he doesn't have any of those two things right now. And he just doesn't look good. And without this run game, Saquon Barkley ran for the second highest rushing total of the season today. Without him, man, they're not in this game. So that's the whole thing. I think Saquon Barkley had an incredible year last year running the football, and teams played them differently. Now this year, they're daring the Eagles run the football.
Yeah.
Go ahead, run it. I don't think they're gambling and saying you're not going to be able to run a big chunk plays on us, and I think that's why these defenses that play the Eagles are playing differently, and they're saying, "Hey, Jalen Hurts, you beat us. We're not gonna blitz you. We're not gonna play man to man," and I think that's why Jalen's struggling. So I think that's my overall take is whose fault is it? Is it Kevin Patullo or is it Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, and the thing is that I don't think a lot of people that don't go through sports at a high level, like, just kind of forget about this, like, an athlete's mindset, right? Especially on
That's
the
big.
biggest stage, right? It's
Yep.
an unbelievable thing, right? And obviously being through it on the baseball side of things, right? I'm nowhere near
Mhm.
I got to the MLB level, but like if you have one little minor detail off in your mindset, right? That's the difference between, a ball being 3 inches more down the middle or 3 inches more where you need to spot it in the right spot to get a strikeout or a home run, right? In the NFL, it's the same type of margin of error, especially at the quarterback position when they have to process so fast. And you kind of have seen this over time is like the quarterbacks that, whether it's their, pass catcher struggling, their offensive line struggling, right? Their play caller, right, is not doing them much favors. They regress, right? They're never as good as they are at their ceiling. And we're kind of seeing Jalen Hurts regress this year, I think in a large part due to the confidence in what this offense has produced to start the season. Because when they started the year, Jalen Hurts was still making some nice throws. His accuracy wasn't a problem, but he's regressed throughout the season in a large part due to the concerns on this offensive side of things. And, the mental side of the quarterback position is greater than any other, right? Regardless of how talented you are, if you're in a slump or your teammates around you or coaches around you are not super successful in setting you up for failure, it's going to cause long term effects on the quarterback. And it's going to take confidence to be built back up over time before we see consistent results, right? And I know like a lot of people don't want to hear this, but like it's a similar type of situation what Mahomes goes through in Kansas City right now. Like you can tell the deep ball is a great example. No problems with the deep ball, right? He had some problems with drops in the past. He got picked off, and when teams started going too high, then they adjusted their system. Didn't do it for few seasons as much, and now you look at how volatile that play is for Kansas City. It's the same thing that's
Yeah.
happening with Jalen Hurts is just the confidence in his head is not there. He's not seeing the field as well. He's not as confident in what the play calls are coming in. And there's that little bit of doubt in the back of his mind that he didn't used to have that's causing these failures in the Philadelphia offense on top of I think the play calling issues under Kevin Patullo. So it's a bunch of compounding stuff. And taking a look at Philadelphia's schedule, Dan, obviously the games against Dallas are wrapped up, but they have a really easy schedule to close. They get the Raiders, the Commanders twice, and a tough game against the Bills. But is there a chance though they lose the East? Because I mean Dallas, it really feels like they are the better team, but they already have a big cushion behind them right now in the race.
Yeah. Well, I think I was trying to do the math earlier. I think if they lose two more, they could get caught from Dallas. I'm trying to look at it, but like I look at the schedule. I think they'll split with the Commanders. The Raiders are obviously a good game for Jalen Hurts to get right. Um, and then that Buffalo game. That Buffalo game's going to be very tough. And I you just with you know, it's the Josh Allen show in Buffalo. Okay, that's my thing. Without him, they're nothing. But, with this Eagles offense right now, I can see them going up to Buffalo and losing. That's gonna be a tough game. You don't know what the weather is gonna be like up there, and I think the offense will continue to struggle.
Yeah.
So I dude, I like, if they're the Cowboys have a chance, man. Like, I'm looking at this and the way the offense is playing, Jalen Hurts has no confidence, like we both say. Anything can happen, and I trust Dallas, just like I we talked about on Thursday. Dallas's offense is clicking right now. They have elite receivers. They're hard to defend. Their defense is improving. And the Eagles are going the opposite way. And I feel like this is kinda a common trend, like, this shouldn't happen. They have a great Super Bowl built roster, in Philadelphia, but this offense just isn't humming right now. The defense can only do so much. I mean, they carried this team. Um, I would be nervous if I'm an Eagles fan, dude. Like, I would be really nervous. Like, they should pull it off, but I would be nervous. So I
Here's the
gotta
thing
talk
with
to my Eagles
Philadelphia is they have a influx of young talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. That's great and sets their roster up for long term. But my concerns on that offensive line, right? These are a lot of veterans outside of Jordan Mailata, right? Lane Johnson, older player, he's injured right now,
yeah,
right?
injured.
Cam Jurgens is a young guy, but he's not necessarily a world beater by any means. Landon Dickerson's getting up there in age a little bit as well. Like they have some veterans on that offensive side of the ball, so the window on that side of the ball is a little bit smaller than that defense that's still been really elite this year and will probably be elite as long as Vic Fangio is still their coach and probably for the next 2 seasons before we see a little bit of regression from that side of the ball, kind of like every other defense in the league. They get feels like really good defenses have about that 3 to 4 year window if they're not going to be a historic defense. And it feels like Philadelphia's in year two of that window right now. So it feels like that's still open for them. But on the offensive side of the ball, AJ Brown's not going to be getting any younger. Devonta Smith is still young, right? But Dallas Goddard, he's getting up there in age. Offensive line getting up there in age. Saquon, running back years, right? Are they a real thing? And Saquon's taken a lot of hits, had a lot of injuries.
Mhm.
So the window is now for Philadelphia, and it would be a massive missed opportunity for this team to miss out on
Yeah.
this playoff berth. And the biggest thing that no one talks about, and everybody's like, Howie Roseman, cap genius, right? They've been pushing a lot of money down the line, especially with Jalen Hurts' quarterback contract, and that number is going to hit someday, right? So they're
Mhm.
going to have to be prepared to take on that. And who knows, they may push it down to 2045 and just say, like, yeah, this is the year we're going 0-17. But for now, Philadelphia, the window's open, and this would be a massive missed
Yeah,
opportunity if they did. To be honest, if Dallas won last week like I thought they should have, but they weren't able to get it done because the defense just didn't play up to that standard, right? I think Dallas probably wins this division, but I think the lead is too big. The Commanders twice, the Raiders like once. Like that's a solid 3 game stretch you're going to get to close the year. Like that'll play for sure. So I think with Philadelphia, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll win the division. I don't think they're making any noise in the playoffs this year. It just feels like too much momentum is stacked against them to make a little run. But in the AFC West, Dan, the Chargers
mhm.
still have a chance to win the division potentially, and they do have a very tough schedule to close the season. Do they have a chance of catching Denver?
No, I don't think so. I'm looking at their schedule right now. Yeah, no, they gotta play. Yeah, they still have to play KC, Dallas, Houston, and the Denver Broncos. So in my opinion, no, I think it's too much. I think they're just losing too many bodies on the offensive line. They lost the right tackle Trey Pipkins tonight. Yeah, with that, you dude, like Herbert's under way too much duress, and it's just not it's set up for sustained success. And they missed those starting left and right tackles on that offensive line. And I look at those teams on their schedule. The Texans can get after you. The Denver's gonna get after you. Cowboys got that interior that's improved. So those 3 games are gonna be a tough stretch, and then Kansas City's always a tough game. So yeah, I don't see them winning the division. Hopefully, they can keep it going and get into the playoffs. But yeah, with Herbert, we got to make sure he's okay. He's still got that left hand, and make sure he came out of this game all right. But their defense, I'm impressed by their defense, but I think it's only going to get them so far in the playoffs or wherever they go. How many more games they win?
Yeah, I mean, this was a massive game for their playoff odds for sure.
Yeah.
This was a big one. This definitely jump them into a place where they feel pretty comfortable sparring a late season collapse. And there's a real chance they could go
Could
one
happen.
and three. A real chance
Yeah.
they. I mean, there's a real chance they go 0-4. Right? Those are four tough
Mhm.
games. Like four
Yeah.
teams that
Yeah.
they might not be favored in any of those games to close the season. They weren't favored tonight against Philly, but they have to find a way to win two of those. They basically have to find a way to go 2-2, and they're in the dance at that point. And obviously, Indianapolis is going to be rolling out maybe a 44-year-old Philip Rivers. Kansas City already has 7 losses, and you only are sitting at 4. So, sparring a late season collapse from the Chargers. And the thing I'll say with Los Angeles is like they're not impressive. They don't do much well offensively because their offensive line's beat up right
Yes.
now. But their defense is really good, and they're going to stay in a lot of games because of that defense. The biggest thing I see a concern is, right, the Cowboys running the football against them. The Chiefs, second highest pass rate, right behind the Chargers, pass rate over expected. Texans don't have a good ground game. And then the Broncos are a very inconsistent ground game who still love to throw the ball a ton. So, in
Mhm.
terms of the way the Chargers defense plays, those are favorable matchups for them to be able to produce and have a nice game defensively based on those matchups alone. So I think with the Chargers, the division is probably out of reach. And I'm looking
Yeah.
at it right now. Like Denver's won 8 straight one score games during their winning
Mhm.
streak, which is absolutely insane. But they got Green Bay this week, Jacksonville. I think they'll take care of business there. And then the Broncos get the Chiefs, and then the Chargers get the Broncos. So they have a tough schedule in their own right, but a lot of home games there during that stretch, and their defense is a different level. We talk about the Chargers defense being good, but Denver's defense is a whole nother level. But I think in terms of like the playoff picture, I don't think the Broncos or the Chargers are going to go very far. Right? I mean, Bo Nix way too inconsistent for me to trust right now. I have no clue what version of him I'm getting on a weekly basis. Great defense though, great defense. But this feels like a team that right? They're winning a lot of these one score games against bad teams, and they played good against the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are a bad team right now too. So I just think the Broncos are a little overrated. I think the Chargers are overrated as well. But the Chargers, where I think they have the edge over the Broncos potentially in the postseason, is they have Justin Herbert. In the postseason, day
Mhm.
quarterbacks win out. Quarterbacks are going to win the big moments, and they're going to be able to make big plays. So I think depending on how it works out, we could really realistically see a 2 versus 7 Broncos versus Chargers game in Mile High, and I think that one would be electric. Your thoughts on playoff outlooks for both of those squads?
Yeah, well, going back, I'm looking at their schedules. The Chargers, it's a tough stretch to close out the season. Out of 3 or 4 games are on the road, and on the flip side, Denver Broncos, they have 3 home games out of 4. So obviously, the schedule favors Denver. They have an elite defense right now, and yeah, that's everybody's concern is the offense. It hasn't looked good all year, but I think like, I'm not really worried about it. It's more the run game. They need to get RJ Harvey going, and that offensive line has gotta get some more push, in my opinion, and once that starts clicking in a Sean Payton offense, I think it'll open everything up. Like, we only have 4 games here, so, we're in December. I would like to see it before the playoffs. If it continues how it is right now, then, yeah, I'll be concerned, but we have about a month left, and we're gonna see how Denver improves. If they improve like just a little bit on the offensive side, they're going to be dangerous because their defense is really good. As long as they stay healthy, their defense is legit. And just like I said yesterday, if they get home field advantage, that's a tough place to go to. It's chilly. The atmosphere is really really tough to play in, and Denver plays really well at home. So we're going to see how they finish out. But I think Denver's got a really tough game this week with Green Bay coming to town. So a lot can change if they lose, which I think they will.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how this thing plays out ultimately. All in all, though, guys, drop your comments down below and the biggest reactions from tonight's game. Hit that subscribe button for more Blitz Angle content, and me and Dan will catch you guys next time.